The Manchester United training ground has been labelled toxic, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe is not happy with the state of the training ground. Casemiro exit could be the first exit this summer, with Saudi clubs preparing to bid 40 million euros. Big outs, big ins, big summer planned at United, and we will break down all the transfer news. Hansi Flick could be a potential name coming to United if Ten Hag is sacked. Martinez and Marcus Rashford are back, among more. So hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. Welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup that we do every day, summing up all the news for you guys. Let's start with the transfer stories, then we'll get to the training ground stories, then we're going to get to some Tier 1 transfer stories, then we're going to get into other news. So, Al Nassr are ready to submit a bid of around 40 million euros for Manchester United for Casemiro, to Manchester United for Casemiro. Bish, bash, bosh, accept that. You're saving 20 million just getting rid of Casemiro and wages. You're going to get about 35 million in this bid. Bish, bash, bosh, 50 million for Casemiro. Sounds too good to be true. 6 months ago, I wouldn't have thought about selling Casemiro, but with how bad he's been this season, with the amount of money we need to raise, because if we want to spend, we need to raise money through sales. I think his head's in Saudi. I think his legs are gone. I think the way Ten Hag is set up tactically, Casemiro's role, it's going to be hard for him to succeed in that role, and it's not completely Casemiro's fault. But £55 million for Casemiro, bish, bash, boss. There's other players we need to get rid of, but 55 million I think would get, because I'm thinking 35 million plus the 20 million saved in wages. That's a lot of money. It was also said Casemiro is expected to leave United this summer, with João Neves made priority to rejuvenate the midfield, and that Man United's interest in João Neves is genuine. Benfica haven't received any official offers, but one is expected soon, and that Benfica ideally want to keep João Neves for another season and are more open to offers for Antonio Silva. Man United have an interest in João Neves and Antonio Silva. We've had scouts at Sporting and Benfica games. I don't think we'll get João Neves. They're saying, look, an official offer is expected soon. I think this is reports coming out of Portugal to pretend United are going to bid for this player to try and get more competition. So the other teams that are genuinely going to bid for this player actually go and give Benfica the bid that they want. I don't think we're going to sign João Neves this summer. I think if he stays at Benfica for another year, I think he's someone we go for next summer. But the profile of midfielder United are looking at is more physical, human, Anana type midfielders. I don't think we have the money to spend more than 60 million on a signing, and we will talk about that in a second. We're going to talk about the credible transfer news and what United are likely to do in a second. But let's talk about this toxic training ground story. It was said by the Sun, but yes, the Sun isn't the most credible, but again, this links to a story by The Athletic, so it gives it credibility because The Athletic is credible. But it was said this: Manchester United's training ground atmosphere has turned toxic after criticism from Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe sent out a memo to all staff recently, citing his disappointment after a tour of facilities. The Athletic then said yesterday, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has sent an email to all Manchester United staff to highlight the lack of tidiness in parts he witnessed of the club and Old Trafford Stadium and the training facilities at Carrington, describing it as a disgrace. You've got to remember, and this is only a little bit of the article, Ratcliffe was fuming when he looked around Old Trafford. He thought the state of Old Trafford was an absolute disgrace. And he'd done this strict email to staff, not only saying you need to come in more and stop working from home, but he's saying, nothing is good about this club. Nothing is good enough. And these might be small things, but these small things create an environment. They set an example and they want to change the environment. If the basic staff, like the cleaners, aren't doing their job and cleaning the changing room, and people aren't showing up and they're being lazy and unproductive working from home, they might be staff that we don't know their names and we might not think it's an important job. But that environment of laziness and not doing it properly can reflect on the first team, believe it or not. And Jim Ratcliffe wants to change the environment of Man United in every single way. And he sent an email, raging at staff, saying this is a disgrace, saying that the training ground has got this toxic atmosphere of people not pulling their weight. And this is the staff. So then this pulls on to the players, potentially, and not making an excuse for the players. But every aspect of United's got to be good. It's got to be top notch. And I like the Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Dave Brailsford are trying to change that. And, reportedly, it is a bit toxic because some staff don't like the Sir Jim Ratcliffe's coming in and is saying you can't work from home anymore. You can't do that. Some staff don't like it because Ratcliffe is saying we need to do better with Manchester United. And I praise Ratcliffe for that as well. But let's talk about transfer news. And this is transfer news based off credible reports. I've read upon loads of credible reports. I follow all the Manchester United news because we do two pieces of content every day. And this is based off people like Romano, Laurie Whitwell, David Ornstein, information we've got in the last month. So I've called this my roundup of credible Man United transfer news ahead of the summer so far. Casemiro exit is likely, Saudi interest, and could bid around 30 to 35 million pounds. Man United will prioritise selling Greenwood and Sancho and are hoping for 70 to 80 million combined, will probably be nearer to 70. Varane, Martial, Williams, Heaton, Evans and Amrabat are out of contract in the summer. None of them are likely to stay. That would probably raise over 50 million pounds just from those players going. I think it raises like 70 million. No, it raises 50 million. I'm thinking of someone else. It was also said that Man United will listen to offers for Lindelof and Maguire, but they will only sell one because Varane is leaving. I think Lindelof would be more likely to go because he's on lower wages and Maguire's the better player. It said Eriksen is likely to leave and is not in plans going forward. Eriksen, if he is not guaranteed game time, will want to leave himself. I don't think he can be guaranteed game time. I don't think he deserves it. He's been pretty poor. Wan-Bissaka, Mejbri, Pulisic, Johnny, Alvaro Fernandez are up for sale. Whether they go or not is another question about bids. They're up for sale. And McTominay could be sold, but only for the right offer. McTominay is someone that Ineos would want to sell, but then because Amrabat and Eriksen and, of course, Casemiro have been so bad, all of a sudden McTominay's got more value than them. So they'll only sell McTominay if they get a good enough offer because they can't sell everyone. I think players like Anthony, they'd also want to sell, but they know with PSR, they've got to get a decent enough offer and they've got to get an offer for Anthony in the first place. I think, a lot of these players on the list, they'll want to sell. Doesn't necessarily mean they'll sell them because Manchester United's in this massive state of ridiculous wage bill. Ineos will want to sell so many players. It's going to be difficult to sell a lot of those players because of their attitude, because of their poor form, because of their wages. Now, let's talk about the ins. Elise is a genuine target and official talks are expected to begin soon. A deal is expected to cost around 60 million with report release cost of 55 to 60 million. Hopefully we can get a deal on the 55 million side, but it could go up to 65 million. But Elise is a genuine target. Romano said Man United are genuinely interested in Elise. They are going to open talks to bring him in. Elise is a United fan. Elise is reportedly open to the move. And Palace know there's a release clause and he'll probably leave. And we've also said, and this was said by Romano as well, that Todibo remains high on Manchester United's centre-back list and the player is open to the move. I think if United decide to make Todibo their number one centre-back signing, the deal will happen, but only if United try and make him number one. Because obviously the relationship with Nice, I'd assume that happens, especially with the player wanting to move despite not being in the Champions League. Branthwaite and Neves are appreciated, but Man United will only go for them at the right price, not in a position to be spending more than 65 million on one signing. Man United are big fans of these players, particularly Branthwaite, but it really just depends on the price. They're saying, look, we're not going to be the United that overspends anymore. It was said that Man United will sign a striker, centre-back and left-back and look to sign a midfielder according to Fabrizio Romano. I think midfielder's got to be number one priority, but this is who Romano is saying will sign, and hopefully that is the case. Potentially two centre-backs, potentially a right winger as well. I think we signed a striker, a centre-back, a left-back, a midfielder and a right winger. I think we make 5 signings. The left-back signing is not expected to cost more than £20 million. In regards to midfielders, Hjulman, Fofana and Onana have been the most followed in midfield according to recent reports. Physical 6/8 profile seems to be what we're looking at. It was also said that Sesko is highly rated, but Ineos may opt for a more experienced striker. And it was also said that Ineos plan to get deals done fast this summer and be more efficient. We may sign some players we haven't been linked to yet. I also forgot to add that Ineos have been looking at some great South American talent, some great young players out there that they might loan to Nice, vice versa as well. But this is more for first team appointments. So I want to quickly now dive into news ahead of the Arsenal game. Lissandro Martinez and Rashford have returned to full training and could be back for Arsenal. This could be a potential lineup of Wan-Bissaka, Evans, Martinez, Delot, Maino, Bruno Mount, Garnacho, Hoyland and Rashford. And while that looks great, and while that midfield three played Arsenal in pre-season and completely beat Arsenal's midfield three, and Kobbie Mainoo was brilliant, I'm worried about Martinez. I'm at the point now where Martinez has been out injured so much. Is it worth risking Martinez versus Arsenal? I know we've got no centre-backs, but I almost think I'm at the point now where if Martinez is at risk of getting injured again, if we play him, don't play him. I'd rather him not play at all this season and he's back and he can fully play next season rather than him play a bit, then get injured, then miss bits of pre-season, then miss bits of next season. If I'm going to be honest with you, I only want to play Martinez if we thought he was ready and mould him in. Rashford is back. A lot of people saying, oh, Rashford's back. He's not going to play Ahmed over Anthony, so it's Rashford or Anthony. And who has the best record after Salah against the top 6? Rashford. Whether you like Rashford or not, you can't deny when we play Liverpool, when we play Tottenham, when we play Arsenal, when we play a Big Six club, if someone's going to show up, it is Marcus Rashford. Which brings me into the final story, which is the manager news that I want to round up with. It was said that Flick has expressed an interest in becoming the next United manager, although we've not been heavily linked to him, but I will keep an eye on if there's any rumours. It was said in regards to Thomas Tuchel that initial contact has taken place between Tuchel's advisors and the Man United hierarchy to express an interest in the move to Old Trafford. So while Bayern Munich seem to be getting rejected by every single manager choice, Flick and Thomas Tuchel have expressed an interest in the United job. So that's 2 candidates United may have a look at. Let me know in the comments, who would you rather see Flick or Tuchel. I don't see us getting Amorim or Nagelsmann. Maybe Southgate, but I think it's more clickbait in the media. De Zerbi, I think Ineos light, but I think the release clause, they might be a bit hit and miss with that. I think if United do bring in a manager, it's probably going to be Thomas Tuchel. But listen, people, that is all your latest Manchester United news rounded up in less than 10 minutes for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do hit the like button on the way out. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. See you next time. Bye.